G'day, my name's Michelle Pope and this is CDH1, It Takes Courage to be Gutless. And today I'm talking about sepsis. I had sepsis after my total gastrectomy in June 2025. And sepsis doesn't often happen too often after a total gastrectomy, but I was one of the small percentage that ended up with it. The first thing I knew about after my operation, a few days later, I had trouble breathing. The nurse came in and she said, hang in there, whacked a oxygen mask on my face and kept on saying, stay with us. And then I was madly rushed off down the hallway to ICU, and then I had a massive team of people, thoracic surgeons, ICU nurses and doctors, and had my operation because of a leak. And I thought it was just a leak, but I woke up a couple of days later and they told me I had AFib and I was still in the ICU. And my arm, when I woke up, was completely black. I'll put photos of these things at the end of this video. I didn't realise that I'd been on life support or the ventilator until a couple of months later. I kept having this dream and I kept on saying to my husband I was watching from above, and I was so sick because when I got home from hospital, because I had to learn to walk, talk and breathe again, that I just thought, okay, it must have been my imagination. You know, I just had a leak. I woke up in the ICU. They said I AFib. But the memory of this dream kept getting stronger, that I was watching from above. So about 6 months later, I looked up my records on my patient portal, and I saw that I had sepsis, complete respiratory failure, AFib, a leak, and they put mild cardiomyopathy and all these other things. And thank God I was unconscious with this all of this, because when I woke up there was a tube and a pump pumping fluid out of my lungs. So I had massive fluid on my body. I couldn't get shoes on for about 5 months because my legs were just so swollen. And every day, because I spent 5 weeks in hospital, I kept on getting, gave me Lasix or through the drip, and we were trying to urinate it out, but that didn't work. I mean, there was just, my legs were just so thick and swollen of fluid, and my lungs were just absolutely chock-a-block full of fluid. And a few weeks later, after my first pump and drain was put in my lungs, then a second one was put in my lungs, and I remember the anesthesiologist saying she's not going to make it if we put her under again. And I woke up AFibing again. Anyway, I spent 5 weeks in hospital, came home, had to learn to walk, talk and breathe again, and it was hard breathing. It really, really hard breathing, still is, but I'm not on an oxygen machine every day like I was. And the lungs are just very stiff. I've been told there's still fluid in the lungs, and all this from getting sepsis. So that's over a year, and I've still got fluid in one of my lungs, and I've changed my PCP, so hopefully I can get back into the hospital to start getting treatment. But after having the sepsis and finding out about it, I was a little bit disappointed that nobody told me. But I did have the photos. While I was sick, I took photos in the ICU of what I look like and how dark black my arm was. And I'm grateful and blessed that I now know that's what was happening, because I had no clue. And I was so numb after the sepsis that the stomach being removed wasn't the issue, although I had to learn to eat again and was on TPN, IV 15-hour fluids for over 7 months. I mean, I was sort of numb from all that. And then I had another leak in September that, to my knowledge, wasn't caused by the sepsis, but it probably, I don't know what went wrong there. But another thing that happened from the sepsis is now when I have tests, I shake a little bit. I have a lot of faith, but I still will shake. Same thing when they told me I had my second leak. The doctor told me and I was shaking. I couldn't stop shaking, and my husband just held me tightly. And because part of me, I couldn't go through it again, but I had to. Sometimes, you know, the sepsis part was scarier than having my stomach out. But sepsis can cause a lot of problems. Fortunately, it hasn't affected me mentally, but it did affect me where I had trouble walking and coordinating, and I was numb for about 7 months, where I couldn't even cry after everything I'd been through. And it was hard, you know, I mean, having to learn to walk and putting one foot in front of the other and so forth. Some people get a sepsis psychosis, and so it does affect people differently, but it does cause, you know, anxiety when you're having more tests or have to go back, because you don't want to go through that again. And but anyway, I just wanted to share about sepsis. And you know, it's not just about when someone goes to hospital and they've had sepsis, the antibiotics fix it and the problem goes away. Many people lose their limbs because of the sepsis, or like with me, because it started in the stomach, it affected the lungs, and having to learn to coordinate both again, and it's just not fun. So if you know of anyone who's gone through sepsis, you know, ask them if they're okay, and you know, just encourage them. And if they're having trouble learning to walk, talk, breathe, or even if they're having mental, you know, anxiety, psychosis problems, be there for them. Check in on them. Make sure they're okay. I was blessed I didn't get the psychosis, but the breathing and, you know, having leaks, you know, that was scary. So I feel for anyone who's gone through the mental problems with this. You know, check on people. Ask if they're okay. Say, what can I do for you? Make sure they're not alone. Make sure that, you know, read up on it. Understand. Be there for them. If anyone needs someone to talk to or for prayer, please contact me. Please message me. I'm here for you all. And sepsis is serious and it's dangerous, and it can happen in so many different forms. So just be careful and research it so you can help others. Anyway, God bless you. Have a blessed day. Bye.